All right, welcome back, everybody. So we have with us Elizabeth Milner, law and crimes in-court reporter, who's been there every day for the action, every day of testimony. And we have so many questions coming in now for Elizabeth. Elizabeth, really good to see you. Before I even go to the more substantive questions, let me give you some praise that we got here. This is from Morty von Eltberg. Thank you. Please let Jesse know if he's ever in Atlanta. I would love to have a cocktail or 12 with him. Also, you all are amazing. That's very sweet. Gene Sluter says, I want my own Jesse and Elizabeth to break down everything in my life for me. Well, that is just disaster. I don't think you want that, but it's very, very kind. All right. So we got the first question from Fabiola Delgado Lebron. Queen Elizabeth, did the defense look stressed during testimony?
P. Diddy, one of the most influential figures in the music industry and business world, has long been a subject of both admiration and controversy. As a highly successful entrepreneur and celebrity, his personal life and legal matters have always attracted the attention of the public. Recently, his name has resurfaced in the news, but this time for an entirely different reason. He is at the center of a high-stakes criminal trial involving allegations of using a drug mule for illegal activities. This trial has captivated the media, especially as one of the central figures in the case, the so-called drug mule, has taken the stand to offer their testimony. P.
Not one bit. I personally didn't think that they seemed stressed during today's testimony, especially once Brendan Paul got on the witness stand. I was kind of thinking that the testimony overall would go one direction, especially given the lawsuit. But given that we saw him kind of testify today, it didn't even go the way I kind of thought it was going. And that's one of the biggest things about this case specifically is you think it's going to go in one direction, then it goes into another direction. So from what I could tell, the defense didn't seem stressed. And I don't want to say that they didn't seem stressed and like they were so like calm, cool, and collective in an arrogant way. It was nothing like that. But it seems like, especially as we're kind of getting towards the end of trial here, that they don't seem as stressed as maybe people may think they are. But again, you know, we never know what's going on through their heads and that type of sort. But from what I could tell, they seem kind of still.
Diddy's public persona has always been larger than life. Known for his music, his label Bad Boy Records, and his various business ventures, he has built an empire that transcends just music. But the drug mule allegations have cast a shadow over his previously untarnished image. The case revolves around ACCUSATIONS that P. Diddy may have been involved in an illicit drug trafficking operation.
You know, pretty surface level as far as just the feelings of emotions from what I could tell sitting inside the courtroom.
Question from Denise Lopez. Elizabeth, how was the tension in the room when Brendan Paul testified? And did he make eye contact with Diddy?
I didn't think that there was going to be a tense moment between the two, especially given kind of the demeanor it's been with other assistants testifying. And so because Diddy wasn't present when Brendan Paul got his immunity deal outside of the presence of the jury, I thought there might be kind of a big moment where maybe Brendan Paul didn't even want to look in Diddy's direction while he kind of approached the witness stand. But from what I could see of him,
with one of his associates allegedly used as a courier for transporting drugs. As the trial unfolds, much attention is now focused on the testimony of the individual who is referred to as the drug mule. Their statement has the potential to change the course of the trial, and by extension P. Diddy's life. The individual at the center of the testimony has been closely linked to the case for some time.
Diddy did kind of what he normally does when maybe a compelling witness might come up and testify, as he kind of turned around in his defense chair and he kind of watched Brendan Paul take the witness stand. But I couldn't feel like necessarily a tense atmosphere as opposed to maybe when Jane was testifying or even as far as when Cassie was testifying. But from what I could tell, even when Brendan Paul got off the witness stand, I think he kind of looked in Diddy's direction. I don't think there was kind of like a, just like a nod to one another, a smile to one another from what I could see. But it didn't feel as tense as maybe I thought it was going to be when he entered the courtroom.
So I have two questions for you that are very similar. They're about Sean Combs because
details about their background and connection to the accused are still unclear to the public, but the drug mule's testimony promises to reveal critical information. They were allegedly part of the operation that transported drugs for a network connected to P. Diddy's business dealings, although it is still uncertain what role he may have played in the larger criminal operation.
You are our eyes and ears. There are no cameras in that courtroom. There is no audio equipment in that courtroom. But listen to this from Joe Lucas. Elizabeth, great reporting. Feels like I'm there. I mean, what better compliment can you get than that? So Joe Lucas asks, what is Diddy's demeanor like today as it's coming up to the end of the prosecution's case? And RD asks, Elizabeth, have you seen Combs look at the jury much since he got in trouble. Remember, he did get in trouble with the judge after a really, I would say, beneficial moment of cross-examination of a key witness in this case. He was accused of nodding at the jury. So what's his demeanor like, and has he been looking at the jury?
As the witness takes the stand, the courtroom is filled with palpable tension, not just because of the high-profile nature of the case, but because of the gravity of the allegations. The drug mule is in a precarious position, knowing that their testimony could make or break the case. During the testimony, the drug mule offers a detailed account of the events that led them to become involved in the illicit drug trade.
Well, I'll take the second question first. Yes, I did see him kind of looking over towards the jury's direction today during testimony, but not kind of as animated as maybe he has been in the past as far as nodding goes and all of that stuff. I really just kind of think I saw him just looking in their direction, maybe to get, maybe what their demeanor was, kind of listening to all these text messages, listening to Brendan Paul testify again too. But as far as just his demeanor overall, it's still kind of the same thing. As if he's feeling any type of worry or anxiety about what the future may hold, I haven't been seeing that necessarily. And again, not in like a cocky or an arrogant type of way, but really just kind of maybe possibly a more poker face kind of way, where if there's any type of emotion.
Their narrative paints a picture of manipulation and pressure, describing how they were allegedly coerced into transporting drugs under the direction of individuals tied to P. Diddy's world. The court listens intently as they speak of how they were recruited, their involvement in the operation, and their interactions with the people who allegedly facilitated the drug trafficking operation.
Feeling that he is having, and it's not reading over his face. Maybe it's in his mind. It's something that we're not seeing. But as far as just his demeanor overall, he kind of is still doing what he's been doing. He's taking his notes. He's listening to testimony. He's jotting his notes down to his defense attorneys. The few moments that I do see him kind of, maybe beam up in a sense is when he sees his family inside the courtroom. So kind of turning around, saying hello to his son, saying hello to his mom, his sister. But as far as any type of worrisome demeanor, I haven't seen that, but you never know what's going on through his mind.
Are they there today? Is his family there?
The testimony becomes a pivotal moment in the trial, as the drug mule's words begin to fill in the gaps that law enforcement has been trying to connect. What they say could either exonerate P. Diddy or implicate him even further in a criminal network.
Yep, his family is here today. I saw his sons, just Justin and Christian Combs today, his sister Keisha, his mom, Janice, and then of course his friend Charlucci, who's been inside that courtroom pretty much as I've been. Even before the trial began, he was always attending those pretrial hearings too. So he did have his support system inside the courtroom today too.
We got this question from Ilana Rodriguez. I absolutely love Jesse and Elizabeth. Oh, they're both great. And Jesse, I love the hair. Thank you so much. Question, Elizabeth. So this is important because we found this out.
The defense team quickly steps in to challenge the drug mule's version of events, attempting to discredit the testimony. They argue that the witness that has a history of dishonesty or criminal behavior, and they try to undermine the credibility of the statements given in the trial. The prosecution, on the other hand, uses the testimony to strengthen their case.
It was actually shocking. We found it out, 15 minutes ago? Elizabeth, when will the trial be over, and when will the prosecution government be done with their case? I mean, we just found out when this is basically going to wrap up, right?
Yes, we did, and it's coming closer to an end pretty much faster than I was expecting to. So because we didn't have court the full day on Wednesday, and of course we had the day off yesterday, it kind of pushed the government's case back just a little bit. So they plan on wrapping up this final summary witness on Monday. Then the cross-examination will happen. That'll probably take a few hours. And then the government plans on resting their case as early as Monday,
suggesting that the drug mule's account is credible and key to proving the allegations against P. Diddy. The cross-examination becomes heated, with the drug mule being questioned in great detail, and the pressure of the courtroom makes the witness visibly uncomfortable. Every question is a potential turning point.
So that could be a big difference. I think probably the biggest thing, though, Jesse, is that the defense says that they plan that their case will be a lot shorter than expected. Now, originally, Mark Agnifilo was saying, okay, maybe it might be 2 to 5 trial days that they were planning for the defense case. But he was saying, as far as just when the defense plans on resting their case in chief, that could happen as soon as Tuesday or Wednesday. And then, of course, there has to be kind of a conference about jury instructions, all of that stuff. But the judge is saying that we could possibly have closing arguments on Thursday of next week. So that is coming up very fast. And then given, jury deliberations, all of that stuff, a lot of things are moving pretty fast, even though it was kind of a slow end to.
As their testimony is scrutinized with precision, the trial continues. Media outlets and social media platforms become consumed with the unfolding drama. People are glued to their screens, eagerly awaiting the next development in the case. Fans of P. Diddy and observers of the entertainment industry react strongly to the news, while some continue to defend the celebrity.
Finally seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. It's like, bam, the light's here. We're almost wrapping this case up, and it could happen as soon as next Thursday.
We were talking about this. So if they really think they're going to wrap up their defense's case, A, it doesn't look like Sean Combs is planning to testify. And B, and this is something I'll ask my panelists in a little bit, defense might feel pretty good about their case. They might feel that they don't need to call as many witnesses as they first thought. And through cross-examination or some of the problematic messages and alleged behavior of the witnesses in this case, they might feel reasonable doubt has already been raised. This is a question from @Tia215. Question for Elizabeth Milner. Christina Korum's name has been up every day of this trial. Will she be coming in?
Others are skeptical of his innocence. Social media explodes with opinions and theories about the case. Celebrities, influencers, and fans express their outrage or disbelief over the situation. This spectacle is more than just a courtroom drama. It has become a cultural event, with the press documenting every detail.
It doesn't seem that way. It doesn't seem like the defense plans on calling her, and with the government resting their case on Monday, it doesn't seem like they're going to be calling her either. And it's interesting because we have been hearing so much about her. We've been seeing her exhibit photos. We've been hearing her text messages from her devices that were turned over. But as far as seeing an appearance from her, either inside the courtroom or as a supporter of Diddy's, or even inside as a witness for either the defense or the government, we're not getting that, it seems like, from where we're kind of going and where we're at in the case. And so it's pretty disappointing. I was hoping to hear from her just in any type of context, whether it be as a defense witness, whether it be as a government witness, but it doesn't seem like either side.
The public's perception of P. Diddy hangs in the balance, as his image as a successful mogul could be irrevocably damaged. Depending on the outcome of the case, the public reaction to this legal battle brings into focus the larger issue of how celebrities are treated by the media and the justice system.
Plans on calling her, which is pretty disappointing. I really just was hoping, and I think a lot of people were hoping, to know what she has to say just about all of this altogether.
If I had to take a guess, I would say within the first day of jury deliberations, those jurors are going to ask themselves, any idea why she wasn't called? I have to imagine they're wondering that. It's a question we're wondering because her name has come up almost every single day in testimony. And you wonder whether or not the prosecution felt that it might be a weakness to their case. Defense might say, we don't want to call her. She's not going to help us in any way. Her messages may tell more of the story. Elizabeth, I want to play you something. So we talked about this before.
Celebrities like P. Diddy live their lives under a constant microscope, where every aspect of their existence is open to scrutiny.
There is this newly released audio tape of Cassie Ventura Fine that has come up. Now, this came up during her testimony where she is allegedly threatening this man over him viewing a sex tape of a freak-off, something of that nature. We were talking about, does it help the prosecution and the defense? This came up during her testimony, but this is the first time that we, the public, have heard it. Let me play a quick portion of it, and I'm happy to have you on because I want you to correct some misinformation there is about what this tape is. You're going to put it into context for us. So let me play it real quick.
In this case, the stakes are even higher as the celebrity faces criminal charges that could tarnish their reputation and affect their business ventures if the allegations are proven to be true.
No, you playing games. And now we're never. Now all my friends can go and we can stay here.
All right,
everybody can go and we're gonna stay here. Everybody heard. So they're all leaving and we're staying here until you show me that. I'm going to kill you. You don't understand. I don't give. I've never killed anybody in my life, but I will kill you because you're with me. With me in my life right now. If I saw a video of you doing anything that you didn't want people to see, I would show you the video so you could tell me what the happened. You're playing games with me, telling me you saw.
It would not only damage P. Diddy's image, but could also have far-reaching consequences on his empire. His record label, fashion lines, and other investments could suffer, as public trust could erode. The outcome of this case is uncertain. The legal teams involved in the trial have worked tirelessly to present their arguments and counter-arguments, each side hoping to secure a favorable outcome. As the prosecution lays out their case, they emphasize the severity of the charges against P. Diddy and the impact of his alleged criminal activity.
Now you're saying you didn't see some. You with me. I'm going to you up. I don't think you understand. And it's not going to be my hands, and it's not going to be blood on my hands. Someone else is going to do it. So you have to tell me right now, and I'm recording this whole FYI, tell me what the you're talking about.
Elizabeth, put into context for us why that's so important and how it came up.
The defense, however, continues to maintain that their client is innocent and that the drug mule's testimony is unreliable or exaggerated. The drama in the courtroom intensifies as the trial nears its conclusion, with both sides fighting fiercely to secure a favorable ruling. As the trial approaches its final stages, speculation runs rampant regarding the potential verdict will.
Yeah, so this particular audio recording came up, and it's pretty interesting. I feel like it can kind of work on both sides, right? Either the prosecution side or the defense's side, because when Cassie was on the witness stand, she was very quiet. She was very soft-spoken. Then the jurors heard this audio where you can see that she's pretty amped up. Why? Because the person that she is kind of confronting in this particular audio recording was someone who conveyed to her that they saw some sexually explicit videos of her, and Cassie wanted to know how they got this video, and this was specifically to, I think he was a club promoter. His name is Sujit, and she was just confronting him about how he got this information, how he got this video, and then just where this video is and how come he's not showing her this particular sexually explicit video. So I've been seeing just some kind of